Hi guys, and many thanks for joining me. If you are new to my channel, hi, my name is Kat and I like to talk about crime, investigations, missing people, conspiracy theories and everything related. If you want to know about my videos, please don't forget to subscribe below, hit the notification bell so you are the first one to know about any new videos I upload, and like and share. Thank you. Now, for my subscribers, I really appreciate you subscribing and many thanks for watching me and for all the beautiful comments. Before I get started, I just want to clear something up. I am by no means an investigator. I am just telling a story of a situation, of an investigation, and I try to collect as much information as I possibly can, be it evidence, be it a theory. I also try to come up with some theories of my own after doing my research. Now, obviously, the only people who have all the evidence are only the investigators and the police and everyone who is dealing with the case. The rest of the public, we can only speak about and read about and research about things which are public to us. So I do try my best to find reliable sources, including PJ files and quite reliable forums and websites and discussion boards. Now, I can't, honestly, no one can say for sure that an evidence is a concrete evidence unless, obviously, the investigation is finished, the guilty party is arrested, there is a trial, they've been put in prison and the case is closed. Up until then, all evidence can be only circumstantial or, I don't know. Now, before we get into the blue tennis bag, I know that covering up the death of a child might sound crazy, but in Madeleine's case, there's plenty of evidence to suggest Kate and Gerry did it. Now, let's start from the day they arrived in Praia da Luz. It's safe to say that on Saturday night, Maddie didn't sleep, and this would have been from her excitement and also the documented habit of wandering about in her parents' bedroom in the night. So she was probably not the best sleeper. I mean, I'm pretty sure that if you have kids, you do know that children in general, whenever they find themselves in a new location, unfamiliar surroundings, they get overexcited. And although they are tired, they don't feel that tiredness, but more likely they would rather just go and explore the new surroundings, have a look around. They would wander about as with any unfamiliar places. It's not surprising Madeleine didn't sleep in that night. Now, I remember very well my 3-year-old, when we moved to a new house, he was restless during nights. We were struggling so hard to get him to sleep. He wouldn't sleep precisely because his bedroom was new to him. So obviously, being used to his other bedroom in the previous house, he sort of, let's say, maybe he panicked. I don't know, but it's very possible with children. I mean, sometimes even adults, they find it difficult to adjust in a new location, in a different place. So I'm not surprised that children find it difficult as well. Kate says in her book that excitement and overtiredness is quite normal. It's also documented from the star chart in the Wrotley house and family members. Now I'm gonna pop up a photo of the chart so you can have a look at. Okay, so Sunday evening, let's say Madeleine and the twins were given sedatives alongside the documented tea and biscuits. The twins sleep, and this was the same throughout the week. In the book, Kate mentions that she suspected sedation right from the start. Both Kate and Fiona Payne, they are qualified anesthetists, and Kate herself, she specializes in pediatrics. Only this fact raises a serious concern. Neither reacted on the 3rd of May, when the twins were fast asleep for a very long time, even with all that commotion in the apartment. Which leads me to believe Kate and Gerry knew exactly the reason behind it. And that's probably why Kate says it first, so she covers her own bum. I'm not gonna say the A word because it might harm the video. I mean, I do know some children, they are deep sleepers, and as I used to say, you can knock a nail in the wall above their head with a hammer and they won't wake up. But not quite like that. I mean, the commotion was happening. People were going in and out the room. People were in the apartment for a very long time. So there was a lot of noise. And there were a lot of things happening there. So it's very surprising that they didn't wake up. So now that we know Madeleine, she hasn't been sleeping well in the night, I believe that she might have woken up. She went to look for her parents in their bedroom. She couldn't find them, so she climbed on the sofa to try and look out the window for Kate and Gerry. So in my assumption, because she was quite drowsy from the sedatives, she climbed that sofa. She didn't realize that the shutters were down. All she wanted was to look out the window for her parents. When she climbed that sofa, she was quite unbalanced, and so I believe that she actually fell at the back of the sofa, and whilst falling she might have hit her face or her head in the windowsill above, and she couldn't soften her fall when she fell down on the terrazzo floor. I think that she slipped forward and landed head first on the floor. And then there's another thing which is quite weird. Madeleine's pajamas were washed because of the supposed large brown tea stain, then dried and photographed on the blue sofa. But then, quite some time later, Kate and Gerry, they must have gotten confused about what they said previously, and later on they were showing the same pajamas at a press conference in Berlin on the 6th of June 2007, describing them as the ones Madeleine was abducted in. And get this, I mean, oh my god, it was confirmed by the uncle John Mccann when he said Emily was dressed in the same garments, and immediately Emily identified them, saying Maddie's jammies. Where is Maddie? So hold on a second here. I'm confused. I'm pretty sure you are confused as well. Kate is saying those pajamas are the same pajamas that Madeleine was abducted in, right? But then later Emily is wearing the same pajamas. I mean, it doesn't make sense. Listen to this. She's saying that those pajamas are the same ones Madeleine was abducted in. Now here is where it crumbles. If you take a moment to think about it, how is it possible that Kate and Gerry had the same pajamas that Madeleine was abducted in? I mean, surely if she was abducted, the pajamas would be abducted with her? Or what happened? The abductor undressed her and left the pajamas in the apartment? It doesn't really make sense, does it? And even stranger than that is the fact that why on earth would you take a photo of tea-stained pajamas? For what purpose? What parent takes a photo of a tea stain on pajamas? For what? To keep it as memory for great times? I don't get it. It's a stain. It's nothing to take a photo about, unless you take a photo which you know will be later presented as exhibit to the public and the media, unless you take the photo because you are trying to deceive. Which begs the question, why would innocent parents go through something like this if they have no involvement in the disappearance of their child? On the other hand, guilty people would do this to show evidence of their innocence, to mislead those investigating. Now, let's get back to Maddie's fall at the back of the sofa. Bleeding from the fall would probably have been confined to some small leakage from the ear, possibly cerebrospinal fluid, which can be an indication of brain damage, and from the mouth and nose, which stops once the heart stops. The parents came back late, so they sneak into their bedroom without disturbing their children and without checking on them. And these late night outings into the early hours of the morning are also documented in Kate's book. In the morning, when they wake up, they see Madeleine's missing from her bed. They look for her everywhere and they find her body behind the sofa. She's already cold and stiff, and she's leaking bodily fluids. Now, Kate, in her grief, holds her tightly, and that's how the sniffer dog could possibly have alerted to cadaverine smell on Kate's trousers. And then Kate in turn, she goes to the twins' room, she hugs them tightly, and that's possible how she transferred the cadaverine scent to Sean's t-shirt, the one with the planes. Meanwhile, Gerry puts the body in the blue tennis bag and leaves it outside in the garden so it's not seen by the cleaner or by the twins. Imagine if the twins would have seen that body, they would probably be traumatized. As we might have heard that Robert Murat and Gerry Mccann knew each other before Maddie's disappearance, I think that Murat might have played a role in helping Gerry hide Madeleine's body, although Gerry claims that he didn't know Murat beforehand. And the thing is that he is acting a bit suspicious. He doesn't say he doesn't know Murat, but rather he would not comment on it. So in my view, if a person doesn't know the other person... Oh, I have flies here. Sorry guys, I'm in my garage. So let's get back to it. So in my view, if a person doesn't know the other person, what's the point when asked the question that you don't comment on it? I mean, surely you just say, oh, I don't know the person, isn't it? There's nothing wrong about that. To me, it's very strange the fact that he said he would not comment on it. Now, Murat is trying to help Gerry get rid of Maddie's body, so he suggests a nearby hotel with outhouses and chest freezers. Now, Gerry is already in his full tennis kit. He takes the tennis bag with him and is able to conceal the body. We do know that Murat, he rented a car because allegedly his car was down for repair, so potentially he could have helped Gerry with that as well. In the next following days, Gerry spends time playing tennis at every opportunity he gets to establish his credentials. The now empty tennis bag is back in the cupboard, in the parents' wardrobe, which is in the bedroom. The scent transfers, and that was the only alert the dog gave in that room, and it was in precisely the same location that the bag was previously, as we can see from PJ Files photos of one bag, and then all of a sudden the bag is gone missing. Although as much as Kate and Gerry deny the existence of that blue tennis bag is clearly seen in the photos, but it then disappears from the record, and just like the princess pink blanket, it was never traced. And this is a theory by Peter Mac. He also has a free ebook which is called What Really Happened to Madeleine Mccann. If you guys want to read it, I will leave the link in the description below so you can get access to it. Now, aside from Peter Mac's theory, including the blue tennis bag, I spent some good few days scouring the internet to try and find some information about this blue tennis bag. At one point, even I believed it's gossip and it's not real. But let me tell you this wouldn't have been a video if I didn't find some things about the blue tennis bag. I came across a website and I actually found a YouTube link to a video from Sky News. It's the report on Gerry's missing tennis bag. Here is the video.
And detectives have been searching for a blue tennis bag that went missing from the McCann's holiday apartment. The bag belonged to Gerry Mccann. He'd been playing tennis in the hours before his daughter vanished.
If it's a bag of a size that could be taken away from the flat, a child, that would be of great interest to the investigating officer.
And this is more or less the very few videos left from all these big media outlets which are still out there. Most of them, they are just gone, deleted, erased from the face of the earth, whatever you want to call it. So after watching the video, now we know the police were looking for a blue tennis bag which disappeared from the McCann's apartment. Then my question is, why did Mitchell deny the existence of it? A better question yet, why is the internet wiped of any reference to it? Mitchell says, and I quote, "As far as Kate and Gerry are concerned, there is no missing tennis bag. They came back from holiday with everything except, of course, tragically, Madeleine. On Gerry Mccann's blogs.co.uk there is a reference to it in a way, but only to highlight that the McCanns deny any existence of it. However, Sky News at the time, they definitely stood by their story, which came from sources that traveled to the resort after Maddie's disappearance. And now the police drilling David Payne at his rogatory interview. And I have to tell you, this is very serious. David Payne almost confessed to it. Almost confessed to what happened with the blue tennis bag. I'm going to read the most interesting bits of this rogatory interview with David Payne. However, I'm also leaving a link in the description below if you want to read the whole statement, the whole interview. Now the officer is asking him, do you know whether they took their own tennis kit out? And he replies, no, they didn't. He wasn't very convinced. So the officer asks him again, they didn't take the kit out? To which David replies, no. And then the officer goes, but when I said... To which he replies, oh, sorry, when you say the tennis kit? When I say kit, the officer replies. Now David says, I'm talking about the racket and balls they didn't take out. And the police officer, he keeps trying to pull some more information about this, and he goes on. Kit, kit in general is gonna mean the attire, and to which David replies, did they have any specific tennis gear? I don't recall that they had any specific, to play. We all have what we call tennis gear, not the stuff that you probably go swimming in and To which the officer asks, what about a kit bag? Would they have a kit bag with them? David Payne says, he certainly didn't have a great big tennis bag or, I used to be a semi-professional squash player, and they certainly didn't have anything that I would call a kit bag from days when I played. To which the officer goes, yeah. And David Payne goes again. A lot of sport, if they had a rucksack with some water in that would be, about as big as it got. A small rucksack, like a backpack. But it certainly wasn't a big tennis, things that you could put a tennis racket in. And the police officer goes, yeah. By this point, I think that the officer starts to realize that he is trying to say it but then hides it, and then he tries to sort of twist it around, so he tries to hide it again. Probably David, by this point, he realizes that he's saying too much, and then he stops, and then he turns it into a different story and a different situation. And now David Payne, but you need to hear this is very, very interesting. Now David Payne says, there was nothing of that size that you could hide a tennis racket in or anything like that. Let's recap, yeah? In case you didn't hear me the first time, I'm gonna repeat this again. There was nothing of that size that you could hide a tennis racket in. Hide a tennis racket? Seriously? It's almost as if he said hide a body, but then quickly he turned it around. He stopped himself and he managed to sort of save it, but he didn't quite save it. And keep watching because you'll see. For example, when you are lying, come on, everybody lies. We know that. It's just human nature. That's how we are. But did it ever happen to you as you lie and go on and on and on, and you're about to expose your lie? It's like your brain realizes what's about to happen, then raises the alarm like ding, you can't say that, and then it stops you from saying it? I'm not gonna get all technical and medical now with all the brain processes and all sort of things, but I think you get it, right? I think you get it. As I was talking to my husband about Payne's statement, we got to the conclusion that there's something else not so great in this interview. You don't hide a tennis racket in a tennis bag, do you? I mean, that's the purpose of a tennis bag, to put the tennis racket in the bag, but not hide it. Now, I got to the end of the video and honestly, I'm none the wiser. Although I do believe there was a blue tennis bag which was used to transport Madeleine's body. Most probably it was disposed of. I'm pretty sure it must have been. Now, there was an article about another bag which was found close to an airport, which allegedly contained some blood-stained jeans, clothes really similar to Madeleine's, and a shower curtain. But it seems that this was fake. It was just a ruse by the Mccanns to bring the focus back to no suspects, so the investigation would go on and on and on, just like it's happening for the last week or so. I'm not even bothered to listen to the news because I can't even stand to hear. So I'm gonna deviate from this subject because anyway, I finished talking about the blue tennis bag, but since we are here, I'm just really, it's unbelievable how many things they say they find, especially in the latest news of Madeleine Mccann. Now they say that Bruckner, he was so poor, he didn't have any money, so he went to Portugal to find odd jobs here and there to get some money. Then he was trafficking drugs for some money. Then he broke into apartments and stole money. Then he didn't have money to live in a property, so he lived in his camper van. And now all of a sudden he's got properties, he's got allotments, he's got cellars. Now the lady is saying, the lady who supposedly bought the house from Bruckner is saying, oh please police, come on and dig the property, there's a cellar here. This is also very convenient, isn't it? Also very convenient. It's unbelievable. They feed now, and then they feed tomorrow, and then they feed again. The Mccanns I'm talking about, and the press, they are both connected anyway, so it doesn't really make any difference if I say Mccanns or the press. No, because the press is controlled by the Mccanns, so it's quite the same. Yeah. So yeah, I'm just disgusted by all these new videos about Bruckner and Madeleine and the investigation and everything. They are running low on funds, and now they are trying to do everything they possibly can, being the Mccanns they are, to get more funding. So then they say, okay, come on, let's come up with this idea and this idea, let's feed a bit of this and a bit of that. And let me tell you something, when you go like the German police did to apparently find the remains of a body of a child, you don't take a digger, you don't dig everything with a digger, you don't put bricks in a skip. No, you can't do that with remains. No, you use sniffer dogs, and if you find remains, even if the sniffer dog would alert to a human body there, you don't, for God's sake, you don't use a mini digger or whatever they use. You don't use stuff to excavate. No, it's just like with archaeology. You use a brush and you brush the dust and everything, the debris and everything, to see if you find something. But how can it be possible to use a mini digger and expect to preserve any sort of evidence or clue you might find? No. This is a big eye-opener, because a normal investigation, if it's not pushed from somewhere, I'm not blaming the German police, no. I am blaming whoever is in charge of Operation Grange. I don't even want to know any more about Operation Grange, because quite possibly Operation Grange they contacted the German police and they gave them some hints and tips to go, just, you know, to have something new there, and then maybe the McCanns will get a bit more funding because they spend the money and they need a bit more. I don't know. I do not understand, and I do question for how much longer will this keep going. Seriously, for how much longer? I mean, they've been so many millions of pounds being spent on these people, and this wasn't for Madeleine, because if it would have been for Madeleine, I would say, you know, fine, it's for a missing child. But this was not for Madeleine. They are not doing anything to help Madeleine being found. They definitely know where Madeleine is. They are just keeping the ruse alive and doing it for themselves. And it's very sad, because throughout all this that's happening, I think that Madeleine is at the bottom of their list. And it's very sad. And in the current situation, with what is happening in the world with COVID-19 and stuff, there are so many people who don't have money, who lost their jobs, who lost their homes, who lost everything, which need the money much more than the McCanns do. And still, those people, they can still be without a job, they can still struggle for money, and the McCanns receive more funding? How is that fair? Food for thought, yeah. Okay guys, many thanks for watching. In my next video, I think I will be doing the 48 questions that Kate refused to answer. So, if you wanna watch it, please don't forget to subscribe, button below, hit the notification bell so you know when I'm going to upload my next video, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Take care and stay safe. Bye bye.